Well, you editor, that was the speech of Nigeria's new president, actually. So, Sam OLISA, relocating the military command center to Maiduguri, what implication does that really have on managing the security problems Nigeria is currently having?
You know, presently the security problem is in the north-eastern part of Nigeria, which Maiduguri is a prominent state capital. And if you look at the antecedents of the Boko Haram, they attempted severally to capture Maiduguri. Once they get that, they can now, you know, tell the world, they can use that to send a message to the world that we have arrived as a state, an independent state within a country. So by relocating the command center to Maiduguri, that shows the seriousness in which this new regime sees this battle. So that that will also send a message to the Boko Haram group as an insurgent group that this government is very serious. Since their command center is there, all necessary equipments, facilities, men and officers will be there. And from there they will launch serious battle against them. Even though towards the end of the last regime, in the last 6 weeks, the military had made a lot of incursion. They've even entered into Sambisa forest. But don't forget, it's not a conventional war. The Boko Haram, like every other terrorist group in the world, they will spread their tentacles, they hit around. So by going to Maiduguri, it's emphasized not the command center in Abuja, so that everything needed and every approval needed, every response needed will be given immediately.
So are you saying the war will be better fought in Maiduguri, having them in Maiduguri, than or because the thing is, if they were very particular about stymieing the threat of insecurity in the country, don't you think the military commanders should have known that going to settle in Maiduguri should have been the right, or should they really have waited for the president to make such order for them to move?
Don't forget that this new president, his former constituency is the military. So, and as a former military man, he knows that it will be better to take the war to the enemy. So, instead of sitting in Abuja, instead of, you know, there was a time the military presence was prominent in the northeast, you know, but when they come back, when they withdraw, these people will come back again. So, as a former military man, he knows that to win a war, the best type of defense is attack. And I think that's why he has taken the command center to Maiduguri.
Do you think the insurgents are daring the president? Because just few hours after his inauguration, we had spades of bomb attacks in different areas of the country.
Usually, in everywhere in the world where we have terrorists, that's what they do. They try to create fear. They try to do something to let people feel that they are not afraid, but they are cowards. So they dare anybody. So that's why I was laughing when Buhari was not yet president and people were saying that he's a sponsor of the terrorists. That no right-thinking man, for whatever reason, will get involved with terrorists, because it's like a wildfire. When it blossoms, he doesn't know the person. So by now attacking few hours, they are telling you that, well, we heard it in the speech of the president that one of the major things is going to do away with the insurgents. So they have to react by doing that. We don't respect anybody. The only thing they respect is force for force. You know, even though you are still going to come to political roundtable at the end of the day, maybe, but you must use force for force. And in the case of Boko Haram, I don't think political solution can solve it, because they are daring. See the number of Nigerians they have killed everywhere in the world. Even if you look at Osama bin Laden, America did not wait for a political solution. They went after him. Initially, they went to Iraq, they went to Afghanistan, then the man was hiding in Pakistan. They got information, they went after him. They got him. So everywhere in the world, you don't dialogue with terrorists because they are faceless. Even the ones that have name, they will be in hiding. Right now, Chekawo is in hiding. if you know where you are, where he is, you go after him. And I think that is the strategy of the new president, to go after them where they are.
You said Shekau is in hiding, but he's been actually circulating some media video shots, boasting, boasting to those in power that he can do and undo. So don't you?
If he can do and undo, the last 6 weeks of the last year, when the military got the right equipment and they went after insurgents, there were a lot of the military made a lot of achievement. So a terrorist will always boast. There's no doubt about that. Part of their strategy is to boast. Part of their strategy is what we call propaganda. So all that video films being done, you know, it does it in hiding. Why can't it come to the street of Abuja or the street of Maiduguri? But you will see Bush behind him. He does it in hiding. But they will always be boasting. That is part of their strategy, to, you know, propaganda, so that they create fear. But I think with Mohammadu Buhari as the new president of Nigeria, looking back at his background and his antecedents, the battle will really change. Okay. He will take the battle to where they are. Oh, if they expect a respite, they must be joking. Okay. And I think that is one of his electioneering campaign promises, which he has to do. Another thing in the speech he made, which interests me, if you look at the speech, he said, we shall rebuild and reform the public service to become more effective and more serviceable.
Okay.
More serviceable. The cost of governance in Nigeria in the last 6 years has been too high.
You're talking about the economic angle of you know, we'll still come to that actually, but I want you to, what do you make of the president's stand on the Niger Delta amnesty program?
I think before he arrived at that conclusion, he must have had a lot of fillers, you know, before he arrived. Don't expect him to be 100% perfect. But as it were now, he is just starting. He promised that to continue to a certain period. So let's look at it. And I think that what the government has been spending on the Niger Delta amnesty in the last 8 years is enormous. Very, very enormous. I think they've done a lot of rehabilitation of the Niger Delta citizens. We've seen some of them that are pilots, you know, in the last 8 years. Okay. They had ample opportunity to become what they want to become. But it should not be something in perpetuity.
But ending the program, I think that what implications will come from that?
No, ending it, you see, if you begin to ask for amnesty for everything, other groups will begin to rise, that which we need amnesty. Like Boko Haram, they are already saying it, that they needed amnesty, but I don't think they need it, because they are terrorists, real terrorists. So I think we have the Niger Delta Development Corporation, NDDC. I mean, in which enormous money is being channeled there. So whatever the federal government has been doing in the last 8 years can be taken over by the Niger Delta Development Commission. Okay. So with allocation every year, I mean, Niger Delta Development Commission, they are doing almost all parallel things like the federal government is doing. So I think after 8 years of massive spending to that area, the mop-up can continue with the Niger Delta Development Commission.
All right. Well, in the president's speech, he quite didn't mention the SWAPI program that the last administration actually put in place. What do you see, what really happened in that line? What really happened?
I think the SWAPI program was a fraud, economically, because there has been allegations of disappearance of funds and mismanagement. The first question you ask yourself, what is supposed to constitute the source of funding for SWAPI is what is perceived as the part of the subsidy withdrawn. That is what is supposed to constitute the bulk or even almost 100% of the source of funding to SWAPI. But with what has happened recently, there are a lot of fraud in the oil subsidy program itself. Because if we begin to look at it, I think one of the things this present regime will do, and will do it with priority, is to look at the subsidy aspect. Is there really subsidy? At what point do we have subsidy? My belief is that if refineries in Nigeria are allowed to work, there is nothing like subsidy. Refineries in Nigeria, because one, there is a dedicated quantity of crude per day, dedicated for local refinery. I think about 445,000 barrels or thereabout.
All right.
Dedicated for local refinery that will meet the bulk of the domestic demand of PMS, AGO, kerosene, other related products. And if this dedicated output, which is valued at just $5 per barrel, at the gate of these refineries, gate price, and you look at the cost of refining it, you look at other antecedent costs, including the margins that will be given to NNPC and other marketers that will offload it to the market, you will find out that there is nothing like subsidy. But when the price has nosedived, the price of crude has even if you value the price of crude for it, I mean, you'll be wondering that where is the subsidy? What do we call subsidy?
If you say Shopee is a fraud, what would now be the fate of the teeming Nigerians who were actually part of this project, who right now are basically unemployed at the moment? What would be their fate?
Let me also ask you, the civil service in Nigeria that has consumed year in, year out, our capital provision is less than 20%. Well, the bulk of our budget is dedicated to governance. And when you ask them, they will tell you that the cost of governance, that public service is expensive. So if this area is thoroughly scrutinized, I'm sure a lot of civil servants that are redundant are there, that will be out of work. So when we are talking of Shopee, should we use fraud against the whole economy, against all Nigerians, to provide a job for a few? That's a question I equally ask. So let's look at the issues. We go back to basics. Let's look at the issue. Once we remove oil theft, which is presently said to be about 400,000 barrels a day, we remove, if that is curtailed, and once we also have dedicated crude for refinery, even if in the short run, because you cannot start a refinery today or maintain it today, it starts working today. You have a short-run solution. In the short run, let's say the next 9 months, this dedicated quantity will be refined abroad. And that was the original policy. Because originally, the Nigerian refinery could only take 170,000 barrels per day to refine. To refine that, the balance of 235 was taken abroad, some to Ivory Coast, some to other countries for refinery. Once that is taken out, and even if we increase the cost to $20 per barrel, PMS, because in one barrel of crude, we have at least 138 liters of PMS. Okay. We have another about 90 liters of AGO, another about 60 liters of kerosene, another about 50 liters of other related products. By the time you have a composite cost of all these products coming out of a barrel of crude, you will see that even PMS, which is the most popular because that is what most Nigerians use, there is no electricity anyway. Right. So we have to generate electricity, and most Nigerians buy petrol-driven generators. The PMS will land at less than 38 naira per liter at the filling station. Then where does the issue of subsidy comes in? At 38 naira. Let's even say they even price it at the prevailing market price, which is presently about $60 per barrel. It will land under 15 naira per liter. So where does the issue? I am so sure of what I'm saying. Let the federal government set up a committee. I am ready to serve in that committee. I am so sure. Because Professor Tam David West have done a research about this, have spoken about it. Other professors of energy have done it. I too have sat down to look at it. Let us set up a committee. These people telling us that there is subsidy. They enrich themselves. They are making the rest of us. Okay. So I'm sure PMS cannot land more than, even if you take the international price and you put it inside, it cannot land more, up to 50 naira per liter. Then again, when the price went as high as $140 per barrel, I think it was then they were talking of subsidy. Even at that time, they shouldn't be talking of subsidy because we have a dedicated crude that we, to be refined. If our domestic consumption is above the amount of liters that could come out of the dedicated, it is then that we ask, okay, we'll be talking of subsidy on that.
Okay. Now, let's move over to the message that the new administration actually preached, which is change. And with the fallout of the new appointment the president recently made, we have 2 spokesmen that was newly appointed by the president. And a lot of Nigerians have been raising dust about why should he appoint 2 spokesmen? Do you also share in their opinion?
Yeah, well, I don't think that is significant. To have 2 spokesmen, one at senior level, one that will be facing the press day to day. I don't think there is something significant about that. We should not overreact. Where we really want change is the area of this subsidy we are talking about. What is happening in the oil sector. We should unravel that area and remove all imperfections. Where we really want change is the area of giving your body language, supporting corruption, so that everybody will begin to behave the way he wants. Those are the areas we really want change. If the president feels that he needs 2 spokesmen, one at the senior level, advisory level, then one that will face the press on a daily basis, for him to perform, we should not be raising eyebrow. It's too early to begin to raise eyebrow. So, but when we begin to see other appointments across board, and we see the type of people put in there, because if there is going to be real change at this time, technocrats, round pegs should be put in round holes. Square pegs should be put in square holes. That is the area we're looking at change. Where we're looking at change is common sense. What Asiwaju Bola Tinubu is saying is common sense approach. That is, it's common sense that we have to give employment to those that are qualified. Instead of leaving those that are qualified and giving employment to those who cannot add value. So that is the area where we begin to see this common sense behavior. Okay. So that is where we are looking at change, not just beginning, the spokesperson. So actually there should not be too much hullabaloo about that.
All right. You talked about cost of governance, how the new administration should learn to manage the finance of the country, and with the fallout of the numerous offices we have in government in Nigeria, how do you see our new president managing the dwindling fund that Nigeria is supposedly having at this time?
Let me tell you, you see, it cannot be business as usual anymore. We were selling for about 3.5 years. The the oil price was hovering above $100 per barrel, between 108, 112, even at a time it went to 130 for Nigerian crude, for basket, open basket. But now it has plummeted, even initially to $40-something, but it gradually peaked to around $50-something per barrel. For the next 2-3 years, with what is happening in the world, with the experts' prediction, we're looking at an oil price of about $60 per barrel. Stable, becoming stable on $60 per barrel for the next 3-4 years. So if at that, we're able, there could be it cannot be a business as usual, because when we were floating the crude at over $100, you see a lot. We couldn't even make a good budget to have more allocation to capital spending. It is capital spending that grows the economy. It is the capital spending that grows the infrastructure, it grows the GDP. So whether it is Buhari or not, we cannot afford business as usual. I know that for sure. So when it comes to the appointment, by the time the salaries are cut, You now live according to your clothes, not even your size.
Even with the 18,000 naira minimum wage?
Oh, how many states are paying 18,000 minimum presently? How many states can afford it? A lot of states are owing their workers. You see? So you have to. It needs a consortium of economic experts that will tell him the truth. He's a military man. That is his background. What he needs now is a consortium of economic experts coming together, you know, looking at the economy and telling you the figure. We put down all the figures across board, including National Assembly members, including his executive members, what the government can afford to pay. So once it begins to do that and shows, you see, don't forget, you have to be honest. Once you are honest with Nigerians, they will follow you. Show them. It's just like the case of a couple, a husband and a wife, and the salary of the husband is only 20,000 naira a month. If you don't tell your wife, this is the 20,000, how do we plan on it? Each time you want to give your wife money to go and cook soup, you face the wall, and she will think you have more there, even when there is nothing left. So I expect this government not to rush into action. You have to institute an economic team, the economic team that will look at the economy in the next 6 months. What do we have? Don't forget, this is a government inheriting a debt burden, foreign debt of about $10 billion, domestic debt of about $50 billion. If you don't pay your domestic debt, I mean, the marginal propensity for job creation will be hindered, because it's local contractors that will now use what they have to generate further employment and further investment. So don't forget that it needs an economic team, a crack team that will sit down, look at all the variables presently, because he made the economy in shambles. It's in serious shambles.
Okay, now with the democratic system Nigeria is currently practicing in face, and but of course we could see some executive talking about slashing their salaries by 50%. We saw the governor of Kaduna State saying his salary and that of his deputy will be slashed. But you know, coming to the lawmakers, like you rightly said, in a democratic setting where they have to sit down and discuss this issue before it's actually implemented, do you see lawmakers making laws to slash their own salaries?
That is what I've just said. Once you put together an economic team that will understudy the economy and put all the figures on the table, the lawmakers have no choice. Unless they are telling those that voted for them that, hey, wait, let me go and enjoy them. By the time I'm coming back, you are dead. You understand what I'm saying? So I expect him, the first thing is to put together a crack team. You know, put all the figures on the table. The lawmakers will see that we cannot afford it any further. Because let me tell you, if this government fails, because the expectation is very high, to every Nigerian now, the magician is Mohammadu, Buhari. So his name is at stake. So the lawmakers too, they should also know that they are coming back in 4 years' time. So if the government they intend to make laws for do not improve the life of the people, I trust Nigerians, particularly with the PVC and the card reader, they will sweep you out. So I expect him. The lawmakers too, they have no choice. But the first thing first is to put a crack team together. Let them understudy the economy, come out with the figures. Okay. This is what we can afford. If we want to run a budget in which 30% or 40% will be allocated to capital expenditure, the number of civil servants must be reduced to so. Or their salary must be cut down to so. The National Assembly members, maybe you are earning 125 million per annum before. This time around, we cannot afford more than 24 million. Okay. So let everything be shown. Okay. So that we don't go begin to borrow and be paying salary.
But you know, the thing is, we've been having a back and forth argument on how broke Nigeria really is. You know, while a group says Nigeria is broke, the other says, no, Nigeria is really not broke. And for you as an economic analyst, from your observation and analysis of the Nigerian economy, how broke is Nigeria?
Nigeria can never be broke because we have what gives us income on daily basis. The problem we have in Nigeria is our cash flow management. Cash flow management, and if you have the right people at the right place, for example, I've always been advocating that what we need in Nigeria as the Minister of Finance is a development economist with homegrown, who has fed poverty. Not that you just go and bring somebody from World Bank, a capitalist economist. You know, a capitalist, the Bretton Woods, what they do in Bretton Woods is that they can put you in debt. You'll be thinking of your survival for today. So what we need is a development economist who knows about the structure of the Nigerian economy. We have a lot of people, we have professors, we have no professors that are versatile in this area. So once you get them, you get a crack team. Nigeria can never be broke. What we need is effective, very good, down-to-earth, honest Minister of Economy who will be able to manage the cash flow. You see, when you have a company and you are expecting the streams of income in 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 months' time, but you need money to begin the business today, you do your spread, your cash flow spread. So you know at what time money begins to come in. You know at what time to pay what. So at the end of the year, you'll be creditworthy. You'll not be a perpetual debtor. So Nigeria can never be broke because oil is still selling. Apart from crude, we have a lot of resources, agro-based resources, other minerals that are in this country. I think it is now that the lawmakers must make law so that states, apart from crude, so that I can have list. You can have exclusive, which are the minerals are in the exclusive list for the federal government. Put oil, crude oil number one, other things that you want to put in there. Then get a residual list. Which of the minerals can states also go into? So that states like Osun that has gold, states like Ondo State that has bitumen, you know, they can also go into investment in those areas. They can partner with private sector investors. Right. So they begin to generate income. Tax is also there. Nigerian population we are said to be about 170 million, because I have not seen anybody that counted and confirmed, but we are said to be. If you are around that, 170 million, at least taxable adults should be 30%. All right. So that's another area of generating income, not only crude. So Nigeria can never be broke, but bad cash management of the last regime put us in that situation.
Wow, strongly said by you. You know, of course, you're coming up with a different side to it, that Nigeria cannot be broken. Sam OLISA stated that good cash managers will actually help the country stem the tide of its dwindling economy. We'll continue on more on the program, which is Core Digest, but do well to join us after this commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Every day of the week will bring to you divergent views on news making the headline.
If people who commit crime are being rewarded with national honors, with national appointments, then where are we going in this country?
It's not about whether it was Jonathan or whether you are going to have a Buhari. It's the kind of political structure we run.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
We are talking about a Buhari who at 41 became head of state. The man did not exhibit the attribute of somebody that is strong intellectually.
So, comrade, you're saying if you become governor, you're going to bring back Okada?
Of course.
You will bring back the market women from the streets?
Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth.
On Core Digest, we bring all of this to the court of public opinion, where you are the judge.
As news breaks, people don't let events pass without giving their comment or reactions.
When the problem arises in society, these are the people that should be consulted.
To cleanse the corruption in society, we are not to provide information for good life and also security of life and property in this country.
The academic society have the loudest voice on this platform.
Whether you call it a sovereign national conference or a national conference, it is about the people of Nigeria.
There should be a change in power.
In any way they can do it.
I think there's a script already.
Every Tuesday at 8:45 p.m. on this station. From the Ivory Tower, a must-watch for the learning minds.
It is often said that the future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. But what about the things in life that actually inspire us to believe? Like the things that drive us, the things that move us, and even the things that remind us that the sky really isn't our limit. Because when we are inspired, we are led to future greatness. But first, we just have to believe.
One day I want to build Nigeria's first aeroplane.
I know. One day you'll make us proud.
Rich and creamy pig, extra fortified with 28 vitamins and minerals. Here's to 60 years of nourishing dreams and inspiring the future. The future is bright. Reach for your peak.
Well, thanks for staying with us. The program is still Core Digest, exclusively on Core TV News. And as we join the train of the new administration, the new dispensation that Nigeria is working up to, we're looking at the topic, the dawn of Buhari, changes and appointments. And on the program today, I'm joined by Sam OLISA, who has done justice to some of the issues we've discussed this morning. Actually, is economic analyst, financial analyst, and also a public affairs analyst. Thanks for staying the course of the show.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So as we move on, the president made a statement that he's going to revive major industries. How soon do you see that happening?
Well, you see, if you study the Asian tigers, in the 70s, I'm talking of these Asian countries that are today world economic power by their own right. They were behind Nigeria. You see, when your economy is agro-based, by the time you begin to add value locally, your manufacturing sector must function. Otherwise, you will remain perpetually an agri-based economy, which is not good. So that the other countries will only be sourcing their raw materials from you and taking it out. It's not good. So I think he has said it well. And I hope good policies, proper policies, will be put in place, including tax policies that will encourage manufacturing. Because government alone cannot be the employer of labor. When your manufacturing industries are revived and they are encouraged to grow, employment will come up. Particularly the micro industries is very key for you to grow your economy, for you to create employment. Because one of the reasons for the restlessness of the youth in Nigeria today is lack of employment. If you look at it during the time there was fuel scarcity, you will see young able-bodied people, they go and struggle to buy fuel and they'll be reselling there on the spot because there's no employment. If there is employment, who will do such thing? Just go and buy 2 kegs and begin to sell to make money. That is temporary. So it's good for the manufacturing sector to be revived. If whatever policy it takes, some of them may be importing raw materials. The portion of the raw materials are importing, they should get foreign exchange at a preferred rate to bring in the raw materials. I think that's one of the things. But because if you begin to ask everybody to go to the market, to go to the open market, the landing cost of the raw material may not encourage them. But after some time, you have an holiday for that. After some time, maybe 1 year, 1.5 years, then by the time they will have revived the industry, they cannot compete. They cannot generate enough funds to buy FX at the open market. So such policies should be looked at. Then tax policies should be used to encourage those that will come up, so that at least there will be tax holiday maybe for the first 2 years, or you attach tax payable to the number of employment generated to encourage them to come up. It is very fundamental that the manufacturing sector must work.
You know, a school of thought to say that Nigerians are more of consumers than producers. And of course, looking at previous administration, they come up with novel ideas, good plans of actually revamping the way the sector is. But what we see are lofty ideas on paper, and we don't see these things come out to play. in reality. Now, as an economist, what are really the mitigating factors to reviving these industries, which no doubt would benefit the economy of the country?
You said it all. When you have good policies on paper, which is not followed by action, it will die, and the paper will end up in the dustbin. So for any economy to grow tremendously and to create employment, your manufacturing sector is very key. Let me give you an example. When there was a meltdown in the United States of America, you know what Obama did first was to put money in General Motors, put money in several other manufacturing sectors that will grow the economy. And once those began to show results, the American economy recovered. It's very key that your manufacturing sector must be active. For instance, we are talking of if you produce on a agri basis, produce banana, plantain, produce a lot of even cocoa, cash crops, you export it raw. You are not doing value added at home. You will not be able to create employment. Government policy should address those issues. Address it in reality, not on paper. So that's why I suggested tax holiday. That's why I suggested exchange rate differential, getting FX exchange rate differential. But in a regime where corruption thrives, you see a lot of people, they can register companies, they say they are manufacturing companies to get for preferred rate for exchange, then they will plow it back, they will round tripping. That's why corruption was the bane. Corruption has been the bane of development in Nigeria in the last few years. So if we have a regime that has zero tolerance to corruption and there is serious punitive measure to coups, such a thing will not happen.
Well, some business owners will say that Nigeria does not really present a good environment for business to strive.
What environment are you looking for? Nigeria is the largest, like you said, we are consumers. Nigeria is the largest market in Africa, sub-Sahara. China is craving to enter Nigeria. They even brought their companies here, you know, and European countries are craving to come to Nigeria. Even the Asian tigers are craving to come to Nigeria. The first basic thing is that you have a market, we have the market. Once the market is there, then you have to produce.
How about short power, low power supply?
That is part of it. That is, if you look at his speech, that is part of what this regime intends to address. Because when there is no electricity, when there is no power, you cannot encourage manufacturing. Manufacturing will die. Because if you are generating power for yourself, it's so expensive. Don't forget, what we are talking now is that the power sector must work. It must function. There must be zero tolerance to corruption so that people will not take advantage of supportive facilities that will encourage production. Then again, the issue of security, which is also addressing. So once all these are addressed, security, power, and zero tolerance to corruption, then what do we need for the enabling environment? Nigeria is the largest market in Africa sub-Sahara. Even foreign companies, FDIs, foreign direct investments will flow in, apart from our own local investment.
So how much sincerity of purpose do you see in this new administration to make these lofty plans and ideas come to reality?
It's a young administration, sworn in on Friday. Today is Monday. So, and by their manifesto, the manifesto they presented to the electorate, it shows that if it is implemented, they are serious. But what we are waiting for is implementation. That's all. If it can implement what he said, it will be fantastic.
When should Nigerians start counting down on this implementation?
Well, I think that's a question that I will not like to answer directly. Because one day is not 2 days, 1 week is not enough. I think the first 100 days of this regime will show Nigerians the direction where they are going. The first 100 days.
Okay.
So, for example, I was listening to the radio this morning when I was coming. Some people are phoning in that he said he will declare his asset publicly. But he has done that with which government department now? that he has done that, but he has not done it publicly. But what he said is that he will declare publicly within 100 days.
100 days, yes.
So I still, today is what? Is it the fourth or the third day?
This is about the fourth day.
So people are already complaining. Nigerians are superhuman beings on planet Earth. And you have to be you have to move at jet speed.
But don't you think experience has taught Nigerians to be very active?
I think so. Experience have taught Nigerians to be agitative. Experience have taught Nigerians to be suspective. They will suspect you. Experience have taught Nigerians not to trust. So, but I think Mohammadu Buhari, going by his words, and going by his past antecedents, will be able to implement his words.
All right, final words from you on this new dawn, the new dawn of Buhari, the changes and appointment. What's more other things do you want to seek from this new government? Well,
we want to see a complete change, a turnabout, a turnaround for the last regime.
Like a miracle?
Well, every Nigerian, they are looking forward to Buhari as a magician. But I think it's not a magician. We should be patient and see what happens within the next 100 days.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sam OLISA. It was nice having you on the program today. And I hope when we extend our invitation to you next time, you would gladly join us on the program.
I will always be available.
Thank you very much. And so to my lovely, patient viewers, wherever you are at this time, we actually discussed the new dawn of Buhari, changes and appointment. And like every Nigerian who are expecting the goodies from this administration, of course, we're looking forward to a lot of positive changes. Like Buhari or our leaders will say that we should be the change we want to see. So it's not really expecting what the leader is going to do, but how much are we willing to change in our own closet or with the little things that we do. It's time to wrap it all on Core Digest this morning. Do well to join us tomorrow for something fresh, exciting, and that would spoil you and make your day a lot more informed than it was the previous night. I wish you happy new month once again. My name remains Omotayo Alo. Thanks for staying with me on the program today.
Every day of the week will bring to you divergent views on news making the headline.
If people who commit crime are being rewarded with national honors, with national appointments, then where are we going in this country?
It's not about whether it was Jonathan or whether you are going to have a Buhari. It's the kind of political structure we run.
Sometimes it gets confrontational.
We are talking about a Buhari who at 41 became head of state. The man did not exhibit the attribute of somebody that is strong intellectually.
So, comrade, you're saying if you become governor, you're going to bring back Okada?
Of course.
You will bring back the market women from the streets?
Excuse me, don't put words into my mouth.
On Core Digest, we bring all of this to the court of public opinion, where you are the judge.